Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to the penultimate round of the season in Season 2 of the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup. We are live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. I hope to be joined alongside by Angie Thompson very soon. Sam Kumo is operating the cameras, and our host tonight is the Oulton Park circuit, a free track a couple of seasons ago, and this place has really had a second wind since it became part of the iRacing based content. Lots of races around here, and it should be a particularly fantastic format in this Mazda MX-5 car. We've got 3 races for you tonight, 3 15-minute races in fact, the second and third with a reverse grid. And I've also got a couple of championships as well, which really could go down to the wire next week at Charlotte. So hopefully you are all very excited for this round. We're currently in qualifying, are the drivers, and still 4 minutes and 30 remaining of those qualifying session. So still opportunity for the drivers to improve out there. And yeah, heading into this round, a slight advantage so far for Parol Simonek ahead of his main rival Caleb Hyde, but it could all change at the end of tonight if one of them can have a particularly good round. Parol really could put one hand on the trophy, or Caleb could make up the gap that he lost in the opening few rounds. It's probably the Australian Hyde who's got the momentum, but it's very tricky to tell who is going to take the spoils. Watching Parol Simonek at the moment go for another lap time. All the drivers out on circuit with one another at the moment in this qualifying session. And so you've got to be able to manage the traffic along, of course, with setting a fast lap time. Dan Parmley, meanwhile, is the leader in the Amateur Championship. And he's got a little bit more of a comfortable advantage. Has been driving superbly, has Parmley, this season, and is well on course for the title. Really already one hand on the trophy, especially considering that he's really had the edge on his main rival Damien McMullen for the majority of the season. In this qualifying session, we've currently got Ivan Pinocchio up on top with Rafael Franco and Dan Parmley rounding out the top 3, but a good half the field haven't set so far an eligible lap time around this circuit, so it could definitely all change in the remaining moments of this session. Parmley needing to negotiate the second one of these chicanes. We are using all the chicanes here at Oulton Park, just missing the apex slightly there. So tricky to thread the needle around many of these corners at Oulton Park, with the large tyre barriers right next to the circuit, which can easily rip a corner off your car. So here comes Parmley into the final sector of the lap. A very quick double apex right-hander for, of course, the final corner up the hill. So tricky to keep it within the track limits. The grass is a fairly good deterrent, but easy to still dip a wheel onto the grass. Lauer, meanwhile, goes into top position. A big time there from the Luxembourg driver. In fact, we saw a Luxembourg 1-2 last time out at Bathurst. We can see a repeat here. What can Parmley do though? Can he strengthen his hold on the amateur class pole? He cannot. He doesn't improve. Man who is improving there is Parol Simonek. Look at that, half a second clear of the rest of the order. That is a huge lap right there for him. And with Caleb Hyde still yet to put in a lap time, it could be very good for the Polish drive. But Hyde is coming to the line at the moment. I think he's just got one more corner to go, has the Australian. I'm not sure if that was a particularly aggressive line, honestly. Is this going to be an eligible lap time? I thought it was a little bit pedestrian, honestly, as though he was trying to open up the corner. Let's see if this is an eligible lap time. It is not. That is dreadful news there for Caleb Hyde. I don't know what has happened to him in this qualifying session. He has had as many lap times as everyone else. He was maybe a little bit late to come out of the pits, but he has had 3 attempts, but none of them have been clean laps. And it sent Caleb way down the order for this race one. Really something that he could not afford whatsoever. He's going to be starting, yeah, at the back of the pack. A few drivers have got pit lane starts to serve at least, but wow, he's going to have a lot of places to gain around. One of the most tricky to overtake circuits on the entire calendar. Once the 10 minutes is up, by the way, that is it. Philip Lauer is still on a second lap. Also, Arius Diamantis could improve. Second and third place men. Simonek's not going to have time, I think, to complete. Well, no, he should have enough time to complete his lap, should Simonek. But Lauer and Diamantis probably the biggest challengers. Lauer just crossing the line at the moment. You can see the time pop up on the timing tower, I imagine. But Lauer does not improve that time round. Is Diamantis able to improve? He is not able to improve either that time. So yeah, no improvement from them. Pinocchio does improve, but it's not enough to put him any more places. And Simonek improves again. Power Simonek, who hasn't got many pole positions this season, honestly. But that's over 7/10 of a second clear, 3/4 of a second clear of the rest of the order. The championship leader, remember, Power Simonek. That is a huge, huge statement from him in qualifying as he bids to seal up the championship with a round to go. We've got Charlotte after this one, but this is the penultimate round of this season of the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup. So there is Simonek then on pole position ahead of Philip Lauer. Arius Diamantis starts in third place. Then it's Ivan Pinocchio, Tom McQuell and Rafael Franco. Lots of amateur drivers up in the top 10. Dan Parmley is at the head of them, ahead of Paul Langert, Ross Fowler, Damien McMullen, Victor Lewandowski and Colin Sampson rounding out the top 12. Behind that is Andrew Bramer, Jay Walsh and Caleb Hyes with a dreadful qualifying. Could not even set an eligible lap time, could the Australian. In second place in the championship, he needs a huge drive through the order in order to keep his hopes alive. Philippe Sen starts in 16th place. I believe Sen will be starting from the pits along with Ronald Moose, Darren Doherty, Thor Churley and Nathan Healy. Plenty of penalties being given out in the last round of the championship, and so all those drivers will have to start from the pits in race 1, but race 2 and race 3 they will be free to join the grid with the others. We've got 40 more seconds of the gridding up process before we go live, and of course, yeah, once that green flag goes out, the timer will start to tick down. 15 minutes of racing in this race 1. The reverse grid number that we'll try to keep in mind is 7 for race 2. It's 8 as well for race 3. So whoever finishes in 7th place in this race 1 will get reverse grid pole. Will get pole for race 2. So that's the position that many of those amateur drivers in particular will be vying for. So the 2 minutes are up. Many drivers starting from the pits, like I said, but Simonek is starting right at the front of the field. The 5 lights are on, and we are racing for the penultimate round of the championship here in the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup, and it's an excellent start for the pole sitter. Diamantis might be able to make his way past Lauer though, heading on the outside through turn 1. He might have to track extend slightly here, but he'll happily pick up the 1x if he has to, and it is the European driver who's able to move up into second position immediately. Good start as well for Franco to get past McQuell. Langer gets past Parmley, and that's for the amateur race lead. But we might have a change for third position here because Pinocchio, one of the most racing drivers out there, is looking for a race right now. He might be up into third position in just a moment. He storms it up the inside, does the 189, is able to cover off the inside for the next corner, and that's excellent work from the Italian to move up 1 place from his good start. Still Lauer just behind. There's Franco, McQuell, Langer, like I said, top of the amateur drivers, and Caleb Hyes already making his way through, but that's a collision that Hyes didn't need, and it's a collision that Fowler didn't need either. Excellent qualifying for Fowler, up in 9th place, his best qualifying of the season, but it's all gone very poorly for him, as Lewandowski and Samson have had seemingly their own separate incidents, and they may well have to pick up the 3 faster pair as a few of the drivers who started on the pit storm past them. See a replay of this one. I wonder if they were put off by the Hydes incident just before. This is Lewandowski in the pink car, making his way through and almost certainly puts off. Eyes to the right and missing the car just in front of him. And yeah, the year 1 TV driver of Samsung, who had no chance to avoid that incident. So we are just completing lap 1 of the race then, And it's a 1 second lead for Powell Simonek ahead of Aris Diamantis. Only 0.3 of a second ahead of Ivan Pinocchio and Philip Lauer. Just making a slight breakaway from Rafael Franco behind. And it's currently Paul Langert with the reverse grid pole position up there in 7th place. As we could see a change here for 2nd place. It was a poor exit for Diamantis. Pinocchio is going to have to go the long way around here. There's nearly contact between the two of them. Pinocchio just having to get on the brakes slightly on the exit, but he still makes a move. And Ivan Pinocchio has pulled off a couple of stunners in the early stages here at Oulton Park. Now we're trying to take advantage as well. That's a very ambitious move. Just about avoids any contact. Well, Felix was kind of looking for that move on Pinocchio on the last lap. I was very glad when he decided bet to Robert on that occasion. On this occasion, he was well up for that move, but he definitely chose the wiser choice and deciding to back out of the overtake. Rafael Franco is now right on his tail. Franco dropped away up to about 0.8 of a second at the start of this lap, but he's right back on him. But these chicanes on the back straight should make overtaking probably quite a bit more tricky. It's much easier to defend as Parmalee, amateur championship leader, remember, is off the circuit down into 11th place. Just a spin there and not too much damage. I wonder who he made contact with there, because he was with Hyde and McMullen. I mean, if either of those two got a penalty, that would be quite significant. So it was Hyde who's already had one collision here. I'm fearing for the Australian, he may have caused this one. And, well, I'll leave the stewards to decide, but, well, make your own minds on that one. Caleb, who's usually terrific at avoiding the crashes, has got himself involved in a couple of them. The first one very ambiguous, that second one maybe a bit more one-sided. And of course the Jazz are able to protest incidents after the race is complete, after the races are complete. And if a driver is found to have caused an incident, then they can get a pit lane start and also penalty points as well. So whoever they are, whether they're at the back of the order, whether they're one of the amateur drivers, whether they're one of the pro drivers, should affect them both evenly. Walsh is past Healy meanwhile. So Jay Walsh in 13th place. In fact, I think that's Healy trying to go for the move. Healy was 0.8 of a second faster on that last tour of the circuit, as I believe we might have Andy Thompson with us now.
Hi Sam, sorry about that, bit of technical difficulties there I think. But I'm with you again now, so I can join the action.
Excellent. Well, I'll give you and the viewers a slight rundown of what's happened so far. Powell Simonek with a stunning qualifying lap, 0.7 of a second clear of the rest of the order, whilst Caleb Heiss didn't set an eligible lap time for the whole session. Wasn't anything to do with the penalty. He had 3 attempts, but he got off track seemingly on every single one of them. Maybe had to turn to the pits as well on one, and maybe had to do an extra out lap. That could have cost him. But he did not set an eligible lap time, so he started down in 15th place. Goes up into Ivan Pinocchio with a very aggressive start up into 2nd place, and well, Pinocchio is catching the leader as well. He only started down in 4th place, did the Italian, but his race pace is absolutely phenomenal right now.
Yeah, it's one of them tracks, isn't it? It's fine lines between getting a decent lap in and getting an off track, and it's very vital on them qualifying laps where you're trying to push a car to a limit, but unfortunately, you know, quite easy to get off tracks around this rather awesome track, I must say, Sam.
I think I've always liked this place, but in this M5, I mean, it's just an amazing combo with these long radius corners, these fast corners where you're really approaching at some high speeds. The ability just to slide the car through is really very important for these drivers. You want to be right on the edge of the grip, leaving nothing leaving absolutely nothing on the limit. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of fun as Diamantis pulls off a big slide himself. He's only just ahead of Franco at the moment. Apologies, this is Lara attacking Diamantis, apologies. And just struggling a little bit at this part.
Yeah, it's great to see it's the full track here at Oulton Park. It's such an amazing track, and there's certainly that back end with the banking the banking right-hander. It makes it very interesting coming off that back straight, going into that banking left-hander, but you know, and coming down the straight into this bankaway here with obviously looking at Franco in 5th place at the moment, Markwell just behind him, and look at the top of the AM driver at the moment. I just joined you as unfortunately, Hyde and Parmalee had a bit of an incident going down into that chicane there. Unfortunate for Parmalee, but Mullins profited from that, and hopefully he's feeling a bit better from last week, Sam.
Well, yeah, he was plagued. So that's a bit of by food poisoning. I can hear the laughter from all you viewers. Yeah, but he drove brilliantly well. Race 3, he won in the amateur category. Don't think he scored as many points as Parmalee across the evening, but I think he did. I think he did cut down the lead a little bit, but not by a huge margin. But no, he's driving very well tonight as well. 9th place overall, ahead of Parmalee after that spin, of course, for the American. But crucially, 2 places away from the reverse grid places, and I think Caleb Hyde is about to get within the reverse grid places, and Paul Langert not defending it too hard, it seems.
So obviously Hyde has a very mixed bag on events. So last 2 rounds he's done really well. Obviously this one he's made it a lot harder for himself by obviously a big accident in front of his that's Jumantus on Lega going into the corner. That's very easily done coming off that corner because your car can get slid out. So it'll be very interesting to see what actually happened there. But very hard to get back onto the track as it's a very fast sweeping right-hander. But Jumantus gets in, managed to get in front of Laura, obviously in 10th place at the moment as well. Have a look at the replay coming up here. A bit far back, but that's fine. There we go, coming down the straight, real fast left-hander, coming into the right-hander banking corner. And a big long lunge there from Lara on Jumantus. So not the most best move to make into that corner, Sam.
Well, I said it earlier on how he was very tempted to do it on lap 1. I said, oh, thank goodness he didn't do that. And he very nearly went for it in lap 2, and again, I mean, imagine the scenes if he'd gone for that one. Well, that's what I was imagining, because it just closes up. Hyde is up into 5th position then. He's up 10 places from his race start, albeit he's got 4 seconds to catch up to Tom McQuell, which I doubt is going to happen in the next 5.5 minutes. So what's Hyde's lap times that time? Well, that was a dreadful lap there for Hyde. I don't know what that was about. Maybe got held up behind Langert or something, or maybe had to slow for the yellow flags when he saw the Jumantus incident ahead. But yeah, not a good one there for the Hydes.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, because he was coming right behind them, so he would have been in the thick of the action from that rather ambitious move there from Lara and Jumantus. But that has profited Hyde, so he's obviously moved up another 2 places in 5th place now. So really good recovery drive for Hydes at the moment. Puts him in a good place on the reverse grid. And then we've got Legat, Mullen and Parmalee, the top 3 AMs in 6th, 7th and 8th. So those 2 profited from the Lara Jumantus incident. So taking it a little bit easier this time around. Obviously Jumantus not repaying the favour on Lara going into that corner, but just biding his time and seeing what he can do and try and take Lara to try and get that 10th place back. But he's a bit seething in that car at the moment, Sam.
Oh, for sure. That's Bremer has had just behind Healy up into 12. But yeah, he will be furious. Will the Lithuanian. Got what that flag was on the start, but I believe it is Lithuania. And yeah, running up in down really in 11th place. Moons getting past Walsh there. Walsh with a 56 on that last lap. Moons in the 52s. Moons did have to start from the pits, and it seems like starting from the pits around this track is quite a big disadvantage. I think it loses you probably about 15 seconds compared to the pole sit, maybe 10 seconds compared to the drivers who are starting at the back of the order. So it's taken them a while to catch back up, but they are right in the mix now. Also in the mix is Parol Simonek and Ivan Pinocchio, who are very close to one another as Sen does move past Walshire. But the gap between the top two in the race is 0.3 of a second. And we've still got a couple more laps to go after this one. Pinocchio was 1.5 tenths faster on the last lap.
Yeah, definitely. He's getting in his slipstream now, and his best bet is just to keep behind him and try and get him down the start finish straight off that corner. So keep right up on his tail. But as we all know, Ivan, from this series, he likes the spaces that no other car can go spaces, and he seems to manage to pull it off 9 times out of 10. So Simonek just needs to be aware as Pinocchio pulls right up on him onto that chicane bit there, and coming up over the hill, which is the fast part of the corner, and the braking coming down into this bend is crucial. You can either go too far or too less and get caught right up. So Pinocchio right on Simonek, as we see Simonek just sliding out of them corners, pushing it to the limit to try and break this toe that Pinocchio's got. But Pinocchio's come on leaps and bounds in these last 4-5 rounds, Sam, and if he had managed to keep the scores going on the first round, he would certainly be in the mix with Simonek and Hides in the top of this championship.
Yeah, I think he's established himself as the third best driver in the series, and can often battle these top two. Wow, that was well, that hurts him a bit now, because that was, I don't know if he really wanted to go for the move. Maybe he was trying to frighten Simonek off, but he kind of just ruined his own exit there. And we've only got, this is the last lap, you can see the marshal waving the white flag just short of getting another one in. Literally, we're going across the line with about 2 seconds over the 15 minutes. And so that is not good news for Pinocchio. Maybe his best chance has now disappeared. Jay Walsh, meanwhile, is going to lose another place, I believe, to Dan Doherty. Doherty's going to have 1 lap to pass. But that's not a great exit as they move on to their 8th lap of the race.
Yeah, trying to do the hello, I'm here sort of technique is probably not the best person to Simonek, who's a very established racer around in this MX-5 car. So he probably seen a lot of Pinocchio's little tactics during the season. He's going to have to do something special to try and get packing, but he's closed up on the end of him again. So this slipstream is quite strong round these tracks, down these bends, although they look quite short. In these cars, it is a fair amount of time that can get closed up. So it'd be interesting to see if Pinocchio can get on his tail, but he needs to make sure that last corner he takes it a lot better than he did to give him a fighting chance coming down into the start-finish. So coming into the latter half of the races now, Simonek with a bit of a lead over Pinocchio's, and Pinocchio might probably do well just to bide his time, come in second place on this, and then obviously be in front of him for the reverse grid, Sam.
Yeah, that will be the silver lining for him. He catches quite a bit through that penultimate corner, but even for a man of Ivan Pinocchio's skill, he's not close enough to go for a move. And so it will be from pole position, Harold Simonek to clinch another race win in the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup Championship, and he beats Ivan Pinocchio in a very close two-way battle. Franco rounds out the podium ahead of McQuell. Hides finishes in 5th place, crucially within the reverse grid places. Langert is top of the amateur judge, probably his best result of the season. And Damien McMullen will get reverse grid pole. Dan Palmer had that spin after contact with Caleb Hides, so finishes just behind, and that's exactly what McMullen needed for the championship. Moons, meanwhile, letting past Sen right at the end. That's certainly not fuel, because this is a fixed setup series. They have plenty of fuel. They've got enough fuel to go about an hour in this with this setup. But Moon's feeling very generous.
Bit of a strange one there. It's not even a reverse grid. Maybe he caused an incident and was being a nice driver and letting Sen back, obviously with an over-ambitious move. But that's the land of the racing gods. We wouldn't probably know unless we can get a replay of it, of any incidences that he might have. But no, give him back the place there. So obviously done something wrong there, Sam, I think. But Simonek, an imperious drive again. He's had a couple of quiet rounds the past 2 rounds, but he seems to have got his mojo back here in Oulton Park, starting off in pole position and leading his way out from first place. I'm Pinocchio, up I'm not sure my timing screen's right. I don't know if he did get up 5 places, but he was certainly giving Simonek a run for his money. But those two are well out front with Franco Marquel, and Hybe's done well from obviously not really qualifying very well and getting right up to 5th place. So a good recovery drive there from Hybes, but lost 4 places to Simonek in the championship. That's got to hurt him, Sam.
Yeah, sure will, because the gap going into this round of the championship, I think, was about 25 points, and so Hydes V needed to try to beat him in pretty much every round to the end of the season, or every race to the end of the season. But that did not happen in race 1, so we advanced straight over to race 2. There are the results: Simonek, Pinocchio, Franco, Marquel, Hyde, Langert, McMullen, Parmalee, Churley and Lau, the top 10. The rest will go through for you. The top 7 inversed for this race 2 start, and also for race 3 the reverse grid will be 8, so whoever finishes in 8th position in this race will be able to get a reverse grid pole for race 3. We'll take a quick opportunity to just thank Apex Racing Academy for sponsoring this series, offering some super prizes as well. Apex Racing Academy with 29 data packs, setups, track coaching, and a brilliant setup sync technology as well for a variety of cars on road and dirt road vehicles. Do check out apexracingac.com to get yourself a subscription. So McMullen then, alongside Lengert for this race 2 of the evening at Oulton Park. And the lights are out. It's a decent start for the pole sitter, but Lengert is going to be almost alongside by the time they head into turn 1, taking quite a shallow entry with a 274, carrying good speed still, and he takes the lead for the first time in his Apex Racing League career. Hyde's also with a strong start. He's going to get past McMullen, which really runs the risk of getting swallowed up by the other pro drivers as they try to move on their way past. As Hyde's trying to go around the outside of the race leader, he's just about moving ahead. McMullen feels like he could have a chance as well, just behind, trying to make it 3 wide, heading into the second sector of the lap. There's very nearly contact between the lots of them, but Hyde is able to get up into the lead and should now be able to scamper away.
Yeah, definitely. That's the disadvantages of the pro drivers having 2 AM drivers on the first and second. Makes it a lot harder. Certainly bunched the field up, but Simonek made a great start. He's up 3 places. Caleb Hydes 2 places, and obviously he's in first place now. So he needs to make sure that he does try and get a bit of a gap now, because Simonek is only in 5th place, but he's 4th place. Sorry, but a big incident going into the chicane there. Ross Fowler, Sansom and Lewandowski, a bit of an incident going into that corner, which is easily done on the first lap. Cold tyres, trying to go in there a little bit too hot, and obviously that's what happened there. But you know, Simonek obviously in 3rd place now, getting past. Big off there for Paul Lagarde. It's not been a good day. He probably expected a little bit more out of his race, starting in 2nd place there, but might have had a bit of a tap there from a pro to just try and get past, but we'll sort of say, it's a bit unusual.
This is McMullen then behind him and clips some grass and spinning round. Of course, the tyre still getting up to temperature, and you can see the same mistake there from Jay Walsh. That was brilliant camera work there from Sam Kume to pick up that one, as Walsh had a similar incident. So bad news for a couple of the amateur drivers, at least. David McMullen well ahead in the amateur category, but he's still surrounded by pro drivers. Simonek is going to try to go around the outside, but there's no way through, and this is going to really hold up now the Polish driver, because Pinocchio is going to be able to get in on the act, and Pinocchio is able to pick whichever side seems to win out on this one. Finally, Simonek is able to get past, but already Hyde has been able to open up a 2.5 second gap. Now next up is Pinocchio, and then it will be McQuell, Yamantis and many others all trying to make their way past McMullen. Pinocchio in similar fashion to what he did to Lauer in race 1, and just go around the outside through the quick left.
Great moves there on the outside. Pinocchio and Simonek trying to get through, and got through to 2nd and 3rd. But like you say, Caleb Hyde's now got established a little bit of a lead, and he needs to try and keep that. He would have broken the slipstream over Simonek, but Simonek's obviously got Pinocchio behind him as in race 1, so he's got to be aware of him behind him, but also try and bridge that gap up to Hyde. But I suppose in the grand scheme of things, in the competition, in the championship, Sam, 2nd place will be good enough as long as he's winning Hyde and doesn't make any sort of mistakes and lose his places. Where he's currently sat is perfect for him. Race winning race 1 and second, but there's still 12 minutes left of this race, so certainly anything can happen as we're on board with Jamantis here with Marquel. And Mullen's still doing quite well in 4th place, still keeping up with the leaders, but I think he's going to be slowly moving down the order when these pros get on the back of him and take him down. But at the moment he's doing a really good job keeping up with the front runners at the moment. So
he's doing a good job just to avoid any incidents on as McMullen. He's still defending, but he is leaving room when he can, and well, that's a tricky scenario to be in there. The return one, and he does get overtaken by a couple more drivers. Lara and Franco still need to get past. Franco had a poor last lap because he cuts across the bank's right-hander, I think we saw, so he lost probably 2 seconds. He was in the mid-55s compared to the top 2 in the mid-52s, Franco. And of course he did finish up in 3rd place earlier on as Yamantis versus McQuell. And that is Yamantis, I believe, moving past Tom McQuell there. So I'm a bit surprised by that one. McQuell, very quick driver, of course. But Yamantis too quick, and he's been able to get past.
he was probably having a bit of a nightmare sat there thinking it might have been Laura, because obviously that's his teammates' colours as well, so he was probably going into that corner with a bit of trepidation, but managed to get the job done really well and taking him on the bank path. So good pass there from Jamantis as Laura in 7th, trying to eye up McMullen going into the chicane. Right on his tail now, so McMullen's probably feeling a bit of pressure with all these pros around him. And Dan Palmerley, something up into moves there going into that corner. He may have clipped that barrier coming down into the chicane. So on board with moves. Let's see what he did here. So coming down into there, trying to make sure you get your braking marker on the right hand side, closing up really fast, and I think overextending that braking marker, taking the scenic route across the grass, and luckily causing no damage. So only a couple of seconds lost there, so he can still keep in the race and obviously track down Healy in front of him at the moment.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be screeching across the circuit there on the rejoin, but just about managed to get it stopped and avoided too many incidents. So yeah, it means not having a great day of it. Of course, former race winner in this race, runner-up in the championship last season. But yeah, he needs to try to get to 8th position if he can in order to get the reverse grid pole, as Lauer is now past McMullen. Took him about a lap and a half to do so. He is finally passed, and now also Franco as well. He's going to try to get past. Also, McQuell's just got back past Yamantis. Yamantis is off the circuit as well. Well, that's heading into the barrier shortly because, wow, he just got onto the grass quick enough. Got no stopping power whatsoever when you're on the grass in that situation. And so he did a fantastic job to get back onto the tarmac and get it stopped for the next corner. But he did lose that place to McQuell, and now he's got his old foe Lauer to battle.
Yeah, it's definitely that corner. It's an all or nothing corner. So you go in top speed, going down the straight there, left-hander. So you got to lift slightly, and obviously I think. And there's a set line to go through that. If you get off that line, you do what happened there to McMullen and to Jamantis. They went a little bit too wide, and as soon as your wheel clips that grass, they did well in that they went on the grass, because if you stay with a wheel on the tarmac, you can turn around, and like you say, Sam, normally you pay a visit to the wall right in front of you, but these cars are really nimble, and just shows the skill of these cars and the drivers to be able to make sure that they didn't hit the wall. Both of them, they managed to get back on and didn't cause a pile-up either. So yeah, that was all good. As we see Ronald moves here, trying to get Healy on the inside. He's got the move done going into second last corner. Oh, but takes that corner terribly, which will give Healy a run on the inside going up to turn 1, and unfortunately Moons is on the wrong side of the track to go into turn 1, so he's going to cut his corner and cut his speed coming into this, but seems to have got the move done, and Healy obviously giving him space luckily to push him out wide. So Ronald Moons finally gets the move done going into turn 1.
Yeah, and he's had to work for that one. Brilliant driving from from the two of them, leaving space all the way through. This is a very narrow circuit, so it's not easy to leave a car's width all the time. That kind of contact is kind of just parts of the racing, but he managed to avoid any of that. Lasted the best parts of 5 or 6 corners. It's quite a train at the moment. High still 2.3 seconds ahead of Simonek. That gap is staying absolutely the same. Pinocchio not really making any impression on Simonek at the moment. That gap kind of just maintaining at 4 tenths. Kind of what we saw in race 1, obviously, with Pinocchio just not having the overspeed to pass. But then behind McQuell, it's all just a very long queue with McMullen just getting a bit detached from this snake. I've seen overtaking quite possible though. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's although it's quite a narrow track, these are quite narrow cars and quite nimble. So if you leave any sort of space, these cars will take advantage of it going into. And the slipstream is quite strong. As we see, Dan Parmley's obviously got past McMullen as well. So he's now the top AM driver in round 2 after his little spin in race 1. So Dan Parmley in 8th place and mixing it up very much again with the pros, keeping them honest. So yeah, McMullen down to 10th at the moment. So it's been from 1st place down to 10th in about 3-4 laps. So it's going backwards and just losing touch with the back of this group, which will keep him honest and keep him in 10th place. But at the moment, I think you said it was 8 places. So Dan Parmley at the moment is in pole position on the track for the reverse grid. So let's see if he can keep it, but he's going to have his job's handful with Sem behind him to try and keep that 8th place. So. And as I say that, Sem takes 8th place and pushes Dan Parmley down to 9th on the track. So yeah, commentators get us on things.
Well, Parmley has become quite accustomed to reverse grid poles, or reverse grid front rows at least this season. He's very good at finishing just at the back end of the top 10. He hasn't quite got the top speed of these pro drivers, but he's comfortably been the fastest amateur driver, so he's always kind of there or thereabouts, as Yamantis is going to try to really go for an impossible move here, but well, he might pull it off, just not quite fast enough on the outside. Really going to have to hesitate turning in until, of course, McQuell started to turn in. Always super tricky in those chicanes to go around the outside because it's so narrow, and yeah, the corner is so much in control of whoever is on the inside. But Yamantis isn't giving up. This final corner is a fantastic opportunity to overtake. We saw Pinocchio nearly get past Simonek earlier on, and well, Yamantis rather than attacking McQuell to really defend from Laura, if anything. This is all holding them up slightly. Actually, McMahon's been able to rejoin the back of this train with Parmley, those top 2 AMs in 9th and 10th overall. Yeah, no sign of this one ending anytime soon, as also Pinocchio is only 2 tenths of a second behind Simonek. Nathan Healy is in the middle of the track and may need to pick up a faster pair.
I think you could say that. I don't think he's going to be making his way back to the pit, so he'll have to get a tow back there, unfortunately. See what happened here. So, looks like a late lunge into the corner. Yeah, clips his back end and unfortunately spins out Healy into the corner, puts him in the way of all the on traffic. He might be a heart attack moment when you come around that corner and you just see, but he did the right thing and reversed the car off the track. But I think certainly that's his race done for this one. But this battle for 4th place with Tom McQuell and Jamantis is certainly heating up, with Jamantis managing to get past Marquell again, but I'm pretty sure that Marquell will come back at him. So this is certainly the race, the battle to watch within this race. Like you say, Sam, there's a big long train from 4th all the way down to 10th, so any sort of incident between one of these, as we see Healy, McMullen trying to get all over the back of Dan Parmley to try and find it, but that, like, as we saw before, was that a spinner? Yes, that was Laura. Oh, Philip Laura coming off. So, guess what, Sam? He was in reverse grid pole at the moment.
Yeah, it's his residency for Parmley. Well, I think this was by himself for Laura, or was there a bit of a tap? Oh, there was a tap. There was a tap from the 136 of Franco. And, yeah, I imagine Luxembourg driver will be particularly disappointed with that. That's a 12th place, no chance of him getting back into the top 8. In fact, he's going to be way too far back to even challenge Chile and Min, so absolutely dreadful for the low grip. Racing driver has just separated out that pack slightly now, as you see the red flash up on the position boxes indicating that the drivers are all 4 wheels off the track. Lots of drivers doing that tonight. Want to get a little bit more speed, but as long as you don't breach the 16 instant limit where you get a drive through, you should be all right. Meanwhile, Thor Churley is defending hard from Ronald Moons.
Yeah, I think that was a great overtake there from Chulo on Moons, going a bit wide into turn 1, as you said, Sam, to take in that 1x just to keep the speed around there, because you can take a lot of speed around that first corner if you get it right. Obviously all 4 wheels off the track, but you've got the hashed area that saves you going into turn 1. So a bit of a battle here between Tulo and Moons for 10th and 11th place at the moment, and we'll see what goes. So we'll see what the passing move that Jamanta did. I think, ooh. So was that was a bit of a strange one. How come? So that must have been Lara, obviously hitting the back of Jamantus, and unfortunately affected Marquel going around that corner. I didn't see Jamantus hit Marquel going in there, so a bit strange unless he went into that corner a bit too hot, Sam. But at the moment we've got Jamantus still out front with Marquel right on his tails, but like you said, a bit of a gap down to Franco in 6th place at the moment. So we've got like 3 little pods at the front. We've got Hides that has pushed out a lead still over Simonek, and then you've got Simonek and Pinocchio and Jamantus and Marquel. So the 2 main battles, Simonek and Hides finishes the first race, finishes 2nd, Pinocchio in 3rd. Jamantus is looking like he's going to get the 4th place with Marquel in 5th, Franco 6th, Sen 7th, and the top am and our reverse grid pole is good old Dan Parmalee with Mullen in 9th. So he'll be a bit annoyed on that reverse grid to not see Dan in front of him to have a little bit of a battle. So, but yeah, as usual, Sam, Dan's in pole position for race number 3.
Yep, good work from the 232. McMullen down 8 places from pole position, just could not hold back Parmalee, and so missing out by a fraction on that reverse grid pole. And once again, that lap count was super close. I think we may have even crossed the line with time to spare, but iRacing has to make a prediction a couple of laps before the end of the race, and so yeah, that was all the laps that we got. But maybe when the track gets a little bit cooler for race 3, you might see 1 extra lap being driven by the drivers. You can see currently 2 o'clock in the afternoon, gonna go to 6 o'clock in the evening for race 3, so a bit more grip out there for the drivers, I'm sure. I'll take this quick opportunity to thank SDK Gaming, who of course provide our overlay, provide that fantastic panel which shows you all that fantastic information, the date, the time, the wind speed, the wind direction, the air temperature, the track temperature, absolutely everything that you could possibly want. So many elements like that on the SDK Gaming overlay. It's really the best in the business. Fantastic live timing as well, and there's some very clever technology which syncs our cameras up to whatever Mr. Sam Kume is showing, and so we can see exactly what Sam is, and we don't have to do anything over on our side. And of course, it's also fantastic for a heads-up display, and if you're streaming your races as well on Twitch or on YouTube. But so here are the results. In Caleb Hyde's 1.7 seconds ahead of Paul Simonek, who was able to hold off Ivan Pinocchio. Aristian Mantis in 4th place. Tom McQuell running out the top 5. Then it was Rafael Franco, Philippe Sen, and Dan Parmalee, top of the amateur drivers. Damien McMullen and Thor Churley rounded out the top 10. Ronald Moons continued his up and down day in 11th. Philip Lauer was in 12th. He'll be gutted that he wasn't within the reverse grid places. Behind that was Ross Fowler, who came back from a from a poor start. Colin Sampson, Paul Lengert, Victor Lewandowski, Jay Walsh, Andrew Braver in 18th place. Then Nathan Healy and Darren Doherty were each 1 lap down. We are going to show you a quick trailer for one of the sponsors for this Apex Racing League Mazda Cup Championship, but after that we'll be able to bring you straight to race 3 of the evening here at Oulton Park. We'll see you back in just a moment. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and welcome back to the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup Championship. Once again, huge thanks to Apex Racing AC for Apex Racing Academy for sponsoring the championship and for offering some super prizes to all the drivers. Once again, 29 data packs from Apex Racing Academy. That's a data pack for 29 different cars, varying from single-seaters to prototypes to GT cars to even rallycross cars that you can get. And each of those data packs including setups, track guides, weekly group coaching sessions, and it's also integrated with virtual racing schools. So huge thanks to them for sponsoring this championship. We're just a few moments away then from race 3 of the evening, and whilst we've seen a little bit of elbows out racing, we've seen Hydes and Simnek managing to get away from too many incidents so far tonight. Hydes had a little bit of one at the start of race 1, but Simnek in particular has been absolutely imperious. I wonder, those two starting alongside each other, Andy, their first proper chance to bat each other all day long, whether that could get a bit feisty maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're the top 2 drivers of the championship. It's probably the first time they've actually been side by side on the grid, so it'd be interesting to see what they do off the line. But you know, as we saw in the last round, Simonek carved through that pack. You know, was in 7th place, and then all of a sudden got up to 2nd place within 1 lap. So he's certainly on a charge tonight, winning the first race, coming 2nd, and he was actually catching Caleb Hydes by the end. So he managed to break the toe from Pinocchio, and I think if we see them side by side, we see a really close action-packed race 3 here. So I'm really looking forward to them two being side by side. But you know, in the back of my mind, and you know, a little bit of thing, it'd be nice to see Dan doing well and certainly getting on the podium for the AMs, and it'd be great for a win. But we'll have to see what he can pull out. Seems to get caught up with a few incidences in his past race when he's been on the front row of the grid. So he just needs to try and get that clean getaway and keep his heels clean and see what he can do during this race. But we know he's a quick driver, and I wonder if he's just done his usual 2 hours worth of practice before the start of this race. Seems to work very well for him. So.
Well, whenever we visit the North American circuits, Virginia, Summit Point, he's got so much practice there because he's driven an MX-5 around those places in real life. Has Dan Palmer got plenty of real life experience, but which usually translates fairly well over to the sim world. Not quite that luxury here at Oulton Park, albeit he was saying how similar this circuit is to Virginia, and yeah, clearly finding a lot of pace tonight. So here is the grid then. Palmley, Hedison, Brinko, McQuell, Yomantis, Pinocchio, Simnek and Hydes. Those top 8 being inverted from the race 2 results. And also big thanks to Lucas Moore for subscribing to Apex Racing TV. Super appreciate you supporting the channel. Of course, if you have enjoyed this broadcast, do leave a like, and also do what Lucas has done and subscribe to Apex Racing TV, and also check out our Twitch channel as well, twitch.tv/Apex Racing TV, where you can catch all of our broadcasts if that's the platform that you prefer to watch your live broadcasts on. So yeah, massive thanks to everyone who has tuned in for this round of the championship, and we are about to get race 3 of the evening underway. Another 15 minutes, perhaps one extra lap for this one if the pace is good. It's Palmley on pole alongside Philipsen and his fellow countryman Franco in third. The drivers are aware. A lot of wheel spin from Sen, a lot cleaner for Palmley. It's a very even start from the pair of them. Good start, I think, for Paul Simonek. He may have already got past Pinocchio as Diamantis has to run a little bit wide as he bats with the Luxembourg drivers. Sen is moving up into the lead. Palmley ran wide as also one of the year 1 drivers is off in the background. So it's Sen leading the way. Palmley in second place, Franco in third. Diamantis up a place, Hyde's up 3 places as Tom McQuell is off into the Island cut through right there, or the Foster's cut through, apologies, and will have a very dull end to his race. Sen, meanwhile, getting past Diamantis. It's a real poor start for Palmley, actually. He's dropped down to 4th position as Franco has in fact taken the lead and sent down into 3rd position. So the drivers who started on the front row down into 3rd and 6th now.
Yeah, definitely. So, unfortunately for Dan, got caught up in all the wrong places for the pros, and was a bit offline, and the pros obviously taking full advantage of that. So he's gone from 1st place down the stick, but still in 1st place for the AMs. Mullen's only 2 places behind him, so hopefully see a little bit of a battle here. So we've got Caleb Hydes managed to get up to 3rd place, Simonek down to 5th with Sen just trying to take him on that corner, getting all 4 wheels off, and notice that. No, and Sen takes it off. Oh no! And he just takes out Healy as well, which is unfortunate. So Lewandowski even. Bit of a collision still going on up there with cars snaking, but luckily unlucky for Lewandowski. Was the only one that got caught up. It could have been a lot worse. So it seemed to be a poor getaway really from Dan. He's normally quite quick at getting away. Even though Sen wheel spun off the line, you could see him catching him on the first corner. But I love the way this track is, because the start-finish grid is so far back on the start-finish straight. All the cars are around the corner, so it's very hard if you're right at the back of that to see. So let's see what happened here. So might have been just a bit of an over-ambitious re-entry, which caused Lewandowski to glide into the car next to him. Unfortunately, spin his car around, and he took too much damage there and had to go back to the pits. So currently Lewandowski in the pits towing back, so I think that's his race out for this. But Dan Palmley's back up to 5th, so still within shout, and just obviously behind Simonek. Simonek at the moment has got Diamantis in front of him. Caleb Hobbs just in front of him. Dan Palmley tries to take it down the inside of Simonek, which is oh no, it's Pinocchio even, sorry. My mistake, trying to take it down Pinocchio. And unfortunately didn't quite come off for him, but McMullen and Dan Palmley are right on each other's tails, Sam. So interesting AM battle in round 3 at the moment.
Yeah, Palmley with the Amateur Championship lead, remember, going into this round of the season. He had a 68 points advantage, sorry, heading into this round. So really just needs to complete the races. He's going to have one hand on the trophy. He already had one hand on the trophy, honestly, but maybe one hand and a couple of fingers as well heading into Charlotte, as long as he can hang on to this 6th position to the end. We'd always like to extend that gap to McMullen ever so slightly in the championship. But yeah, extraordinary start from Hyde. Simonek went off the circuit for a moment at the end of the last lap. You may have seen him drifting with a lot of opposite lock on the grass, and that probably held him back slightly, but he is coming back in that 4th position. Fastest lap of the race, 1/10 faster than Hyde and 7/10 faster than Franco, who does have the lead at the moment, but he needs to up his pace if he's going to hold on to that to the end of the event with the rate that the other drivers are lapping. Just 2.1 seconds covering the top 4, as all over the place is Pinocchio there. These drivers are so good when it comes to controlling the cars on the grass.
Yeah, definitely. He was all four wheels out and all bent out of shape, but managed to keep them. And that's one of the beauties of these cars. They're really forgiving on these tracks. I mean, obviously, it's a car that everybody starts off on iRacing, so everyone's used to these cars. Obviously, we got the Formula V now. There's an optional choice, but it always used to be the Mazda. So everyone cut their mustard on the Mazda. So everyone's a bit more used to the Mazda and how it reacts, and it's a very forgiving car, as we saw there from Pinocchio getting all bent out of shape down the field. But I do love McMullen's paint job, and I do love the fact that he's got Potato Nation on the back of it. Shows a true spirit to the Irish nation there, as we see a fine example of Potato Nation there.
Yeah, he's I don't know if that thing's powered by potatoes, maybe something a bit more powerful honestly, because he's still doing very well. As here comes Hydes, he needs all the power that he can get. He's up the inside into the final corner, and Franco knows when he is beaten. So it's Caleb Hydes then to the lead, and well, I did think that he might be strong in the reverse, because when he started down in 15th place for race 1, he avoided too many incidents at least, a bit. Actually, will be investigated by the stewards post-race after an incident with another driver in race 1. But well, 2 race wins for him. I think that would be a fairly good result. Fortunately for him, of course, Simonek only 3 cars back at the moment, and well, I think Hyde should be fairly safe to the end of the race now. I think it's all about if Simonek can get past Yamantis now.
Yeah, definitely battle on. So Franco was about 1.5 seconds in the top. Rest of the top 4, so it's only a matter of time before Jamantis gets on the back of Franco, and it might slow him down, and then that might bring Simonek in to have the optimistic lunge on one of the corners if Franco decides to play a bit of defensive game on that. So as we can see here, Simonek all over the back of Jamantis, going into the back half of the track, going into the chicane, getting out up to this long-ish straight down to the tight chicane going in there, which is very important to get your braking mark. And unfortunately, when you're this close to the car behind, it's quite easy to miss your braking marker and hit into the back of the car in front. But obviously, a well-seasoned Mazda driver like Simonek knows the limitations of the car and does that corner very well. But what that has done is brought Pinocchio onto the back of Simonek. So there's a bit of a three-car battle here between Simonek, Jamantis and Pinocchio. So Pinocchio seems to be stuck to the back of Simonek's car for these 3 rounds of Oulton Park in the morning. So it must be Simonek full of Pinocchio's car behind him.
Yeah, Pinocchio's had some poor starts tonight, I think. Maybe race 1, to be fair, he was very good. He gained a couple of places, but both race 2 and race 3, he started ahead of Simonek, but then by the end of lap 1, he was behind him. So he hasn't made the job too easy for him, arguably being the fastest round there, as Pinocchio's pace in race 1 was phenomenal, but just hasn't been able to show, as you say. He's been stuck behind Polish driver for the entire evening. Simonek once again super close to Yamantis here, who does not have the pace of these 2, but he can always have a fight. Can Yamantis? He's really helping out Rafael Franco at the moment. He said it earlier on, Andy, that if these guys were able to get past, then they'd be probably past Franco fairly quickly. But Mantis is just holding them up enough at the moment, and heading into Britain's, there really is absolutely no way through into this chicane. It's a single line, all about getting a good exit. Simonek running slightly wide there. That kind of ends any opportunity he has of going for the move into the second chicane as they head over Hilltop.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're exactly right there. Obviously, Franco's a little bit slower, but because he's got free air in front of him and free air behind, he can take his line where he wants. And Jamantis at the moment is defending for all he's worth from Simonek. Simonek's trying all the tricks in the book to try and get past him, but unfortunately, he's not succeeding in a moment. So, a big off there by Jay Walsh. Going down the order, so let's see what happened to Jay as he come down. Who's that behind him? Is that Stan behind him going into the chicane? Does he? Oh, he clips the inside, which is easily done. And unfortunately, probably damaged his right front on that as well. So as we can see, they're trying to get out of the tyre wall and unfortunately not going very far as we see the car grabbing. So I think that car will be going back to the pits very shortly there, Sam.
Yeah, most likely. By the way, we've got a couple of new series starting on Apex Racing League, of course, both of which broadcasted on Apex Racing TV, as Humantis just got past Franco, actually. So Franco must have made a mistake, I think, because Humantis is past. But yeah, in a couple of weeks on Monday evenings, we've got the first season of the Apex Racing League Formula V Championship, going to some quite tight, twisty circuits, really utilising the best strengths of the Formula V car. Same format as this one as well, as this series, 15-minute races, 3 of them across the night, with a couple of reverse grids as well. And also on Thursday, that's this Thursday, we've got the first round of the Apex Racing League Trucks Series, the NASCAR Trucks Series. The first round is at Daytona. That's the first ever oval league for Apex Racing League, and so that is going to be amazing viewing, I am sure. 8 rounds in that one with a break week as well. And of course you can sign up to those 2 series along with the other 5 series which are currently going on already on Apex Racing League over on apexracingleague.com, where you can also see race reports for all of the events which have occurred recently. So yeah, Humantis up in second place. I don't know if we can try to get a replay of that one, because I am quite curious as to how on earth that would happen, because Franco had a bit of a gap before that.
Yeah, I think Humantis is certainly on it at the moment. He was very quick coming over the rise, and I think Franco got a bit bent out of shape going into that really fast right left and lost a lot of speed, and Humantis capitalised on it going into the corner, got the excess speed down the straight, and got the corner speed done and got it done going down the start finish. You see it, Simonek trying to get up on the inside of him, but unfortunately couldn't quite get it into the first corner. But yeah, no, really excited about the Formula V, Sam. Another starting series championship going in. So if there's anybody out there that's interested and fancy giving league racing a go, I highly recommend trying that league out. It's a forgiving car, a very manageable car, and obviously in these series when you're league racing, the racing is completely different to the standard rookie iRacing. So you'll be entertained and obviously enhance your driving in the Formula V Championship, which is starting in a couple of weeks' time. So sign yourself up, guys. As we watch here with Dan Parmalee in 7th. McMullen is still keeping with him at the moment, just got a little bit of gap from Parmalee in 8th place, but still keeping with him. So still the proposition for McMullen to try and get past Dan, to try and take that win at the moment. But Caleb Hives at the moment is obviously streaking out front. Humantis, I think he's got that bit between his teeth. As we said before with Humantis, very quick driver, Sam, but is sometimes quite prone to making mistakes, which really impacts his championships. As we see here, he's pulled away from Franco, but overall a very quick driver. And on his day, when he gets everything right, he's certainly in the top half of the grid.
Yeah, and this looks like it's going to be his day, because yeah, he's driving exceptionally well at the moment. Simnik still not being able to get past Franco. I thought he'd be past him a bit quicker, but now he is all over the back of the Brazilian. He's going to have to go defensive if he wants to hold on to that position. Parmalee, meanwhile, has had an off. Let's see if there's a move for Simnek here. There is not, so we might be able to get a replay of what happened to Parmalee. He hasn't lost too much time there as the white flag's out again. I honestly thought we would be able to fit in another one because the pace has been so quick. But man, it's 15 minutes. It could have been, if it was 15 minutes and 4 seconds, then this broadcast would be a lot longer. Parmalee with a very weird issue there. I imagine that might be hardware for him there for him, Andy.
Yeah, definitely. Seemed like a really weird place to go off. He seemed to have the making of that corner. And so, unfortunately, went out for happened to me in the 24-hour Le Mans, and unfortunately ended our race because my base decided it wasn't going to play and smashed our car into a wall, which was kind of frustrating. But that's iRacing for you. It's almost realistic to real-life racing. You do have issues with your equipment.
Yeah, and yeah, it was very disappointing for him there, but fortunately being able to recontrol the car as Pinocchio's just got past Simnek. So Simnek going for the move on Franco, bit of contact between the two of them, and Pinocchio able to nip back up the inside. So without penalties being included, which Hides might be vulnerable to, Hides would be able to close down the championship because he's had 2 first places and a 5th position. Meanwhile, Simnek has had 1 first place, 1 second place, and a 5th position. The gap heading into this one was 25 points. If it ends like this, it would be 22, I believe. Of course, penalties, they could still make an impact on that. But Caleb Hides has really done superbly. He qualified 15th in race 1, where he's been able to get 2 race wins tonight, and he takes race 3 of the evening ahead of Aris Yamantis. Simnek having to take a drive-through right to the end, and he's not going to be able to serve it. He thinks, well, he should have just gone for the line there, because you cannot serve a drive-through on the last lap. Michael Schumacher tried it many years ago. I think it may have worked for him on that occasion, but in iRacing that will not work, and Simnek wasting time there on the attempt to serve the drive-through, and that is just going to cost him more time. And we wait. Once everyone is across the line, we'll find out what his actual finishing position is, but this could be huge when it comes to the points.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a 30-second penalty, which will put him right down the order. Caleb will be rubbing his hands if that's the case. Unfortunate. I mean, it's a bit of a driver mistake there. If he knew he was that close to getting a fault or a penalty, you make sure you don't, certainly on the last lap, and this might really hinder his chances. Makes it a lot interesting for the championship, that's for sure. So let's see the results. Has everyone crossed the line yet? Be interesting.
I have more news. Pinocchio also picked up a penalty. So Pinocchio also got 18 incidents. Those two, and yeah, so he got 18. Simnek got 19. So those two colliding then through the bank's right-hander pushed them over the limit. They both cost each other right there. So watch out for Pinocchio to drop down the order as well.
Wow. Okay. So obviously, good to see a replay of that if we can get it, of what happened in that last corner, because it seems like maybe an optimistic move there. Oh, as we see there, down to 14th and 15th place for Pinocchio and Simnek. So the results for race 3: Caleb Hides in first place, rubbing his hands together. Jamantis in second, Franco third, Laura in fourth. Damien McMullen got in front of Dan Parmalee with that unfortunate, let's call it a hardware issue into the last corner, which obviously gave the advantage over Dan in 6th, Sen in 7th, Tulo 8th, Moons 9th, McQuell 10th, Nathan Healy came 3rd in the AMS, it was in 11th, Paul Legat, Colin Sansom, Ivan Pinocchio and Simnek in 14th and 15th, but both of them are kicking themselves. 16th was Andrew Brom, Darren Doherty 17th, Victor Lewandowski 18th, and Jay Walsh and Russ Fowler were 1 lap and 3 lap down. So, wow, that makes it very interesting for the championship now going into the last round, Sam. I'm sure you're eagerly away there trying to get the scores to see where we're at.
You know me too well. That is exactly what I am doing. So I should be able to bring the points to you at some point in the interviews. I will just take this opportunity though to say thanks Virtual Racing School for being another sponsor for the championship. Virtual Racing School offering over 50 data packs, and that covers of course many road cars along with lots of oval cars. So I mean stock cars, I believe they might even do some of the dirt oval stuff, really covering everything. Do Virtual Racing School. It's an absolutely fantastic platform. Setups, track guides, and some fantastic data analysis software, which is the ideal way to really pinpoint where you can improve on your lap times at each individual circuit, because you get the telemetry, or your telemetry, compared to a pro driver's telemetry, and so you can see exactly which corners you're losing out. Maybe you're braking a bit too early, maybe you're braking a bit too late on the power, too late or early, yeah, I've heard from many drivers that is really the fastest way, the most comprehensive way to improve your performance week on week. So do check out Virtual Racing School in order to get yourself a subscription. We've got a few interviews now with drivers. I'll let you take the first interview tonight, Andy, whilst I'm calculating the points. We've got a few drivers eagerly awaiting.
Yeah, okay, let's get Caleb in. Hi Caleb, welcome to the interview room. How are you?
Hello, yeah, pretty good.
So, obviously, qualifying didn't quite go to plan. 15th place. I thought, oh no, it's not another Road America. But you did a sterling job in that first round, getting up to 5th place. Managed to keep out of trouble on the first lap. And then the second and third race, you just owned it. So, must be over the moon with the results tonight, mate.
Yeah, I think maybe could have been a little bit better, but I think, you know, the best I probably could have gotten was 2 wins, which is what I got even after qualifying, not even setting a qualifying time and starting 15th in race 1. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I extracted everything could get out of the car and out of the results as well. Like being able to move up to 5th in race 1 was pretty good because especially on this tight track, it was a big challenge. And I had a couple incidents along the way that I got caught in. There was one on the first lap in the first chicane. I don't think the bloke saw me going around the outside, but got a bit of damage for that, but luckily it wasn't too much. And then I didn't know what the redraw was for the consolation race, so I was just hoping it would be somewhere in the top. Wherever I finished, I'd be there, and luckily with a 5th position, I think I was quite safely on the redraw, and yeah, kind of just all went well from there, basically.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you're aware of the shenanigans, should we say, in the last race, but your main rival, Simonek, who was in 5th place, unfortunately picked up a penalty on the last corner with Pinocchio, so ended that last race 3 in 15th place. So on a championship point of view, that's a big points haul, which are my favourite commentator is doing the points for, that we should be able to see how close you are.
I can say what the points difference is. So it's now just 5 points. You brought down the gap by 20 points tonight, Caleb. So it's just 5 points going into Charlotte.
Wow.
Oh, it's not too bad. Yeah, I didn't notice that actually. I thought he finished, well, he did finish 5th in that last race, but I hadn't looked at the results and saw that it was 15th. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna give it all at Charlotte. I think have good speed there. I think we showed that last season that we can really fight. I think we were quicker than Ferrari last season, which just that in itself is a big achievement, being quicker than Ferrari at a track. But yeah, I'm gonna give it my best, and hopefully we can come out with a championship. That would be ideal.
Well, I mean, you've given yourself the best shot, mate. You know, 25 points behind into this race. It was a long shot, and I think you've been given a lifeline. So it's going to be very interesting going into Charlotte for the last round of the championship. So you've given yourself the best shot. So congratulations, mate. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thanks, mate. Yeah, just like to give a big shout out to my team, Dropman Motorsport, and the team sponsors, and Cozy, Sam Blacklock Media, Hybrid Racing Simulations, Revolution Race Gear, and big thanks to Apex Racing for putting this league on.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us, Caleb. And you go and enjoy your 2 race wins in your 5th place, and get ready for that last round, which I'm really looking forward to watching. So good luck, mate.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, mate. Wow, Sam. 5 points in it, so all to play for. So few more of our drivers in the wings waiting for you to cross-examine them. Which one are you going to choose?
I will have a chat next with Dan Palmley, who, well, I should have really checked this before. I think Dan may have been our highest point scoring driver in the amateur category tonight. It certainly was going to be close because Dan, you seem to be, at least in race 2 and race 3, absolutely glued to Damien. You two had an absolutely terrific battle out there.
Yeah, Sam, Damien and I were talking a little bit between 2 and 3. Even though we're 1 and 2 in the championship, we really had never raced around each other. much this season. And the few times we did, either him or I like went off, and then we were separated for the rest of the race. He had a bunch of like race 3 issues earlier in the season, so it was nice to actually race around. And it's like, hey, if we're gonna fight for a championship, we might as well fight each other in a race. But it looks like he outscored me by 3 points, 166 to 163. Unofficial, I'd imagine.
Yeah, before any protests and whatever, but yeah, Damien, just having the tiny edge tonight. Of course, your evening went pretty well on the most part. That race 3 start though, that looked quite tricky because you started on pole, but you had pretty much all the most competitive drivers in the series lining up right behind you. But you've had your fair share of reverse grid poles this season, we were saying.
Yeah, and we were also talking in the waiting area. It seemed like the level of aggression really ramped up tonight. And, you know, the few times I'd been up front in other races, I didn't feel like I was really getting leaned on much, and it felt certainly that way today. And I think Damien kind of echoed that. It really seemed like those pro class guys were really fighting hard for every position. And, you know, when an AM guy gets up there, I don't know if that gives them the red mist or what, but it was certainly a tough race today.
We head to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the final round of the championship. I feel like that circuit divides opinion quite a bit because it's a bizarre circuit. I really can't think of really anywhere similar to it. What's your opinions on it?
I really enjoyed when we went there last year. I had a lot of fun. I think ran pretty well. I want to say I had a pretty wild pass on Damien at one point, so we'll see if we can replicate that, or maybe it'll return the favor. But I like it. It's certainly a different track, like you said. You know, Daytona is one that uses a conventional oval, but there's something just so different about Charlotte. Maybe it's just the shorter track, the corners being a little bit narrower when you do get on the high banks. But you got to watch out for those turtles too. They can really bite you. So looking forward to it. We'll have a lot of fun. Try to go out there, be consistent again, and see if we can wrap up this championship.
Awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck for that one. Dan, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Give a shout out to my parents. I'm also going to give a big shout out to my wife. She's currently on her way out to the western part of the United States to go fight some wildfires. So she'll be gone for a little while here, but she's on her way out there now, and hopefully she gets some action out there in the fire. She's been looking forward to doing it for a long time.
Absolutely. Best of luck to her, and of course, best of luck to you, Dan, next time out at Charlotte.
Definitely. We'll see you next week, Sam. Thanks again.
Dan Palmley there, your second highest scoring amateur driver tonight, with an 2 8s and a 6th place overall. Got a couple more interviews. Andy, who we're going to have a talk with next?
I'm going to go with my favourite Irishman, Damien. Let's get Damien in. Hi, Damien. Welcome to the commentary box, mate. Can you hear us?
How are you keeping, Andrew? Good.
How are you keeping more to the point? Are you feeling better, mate?
Feeling 100% better than last week. My God, I was terrible.
Well, that's good news anyway. At least you got over your little bout. So, really interesting battling tonight with you and Dan. You know, certainly in that race 3, you were on his tail. Managed to get the better of him to get the AM win in race 3. How did today go for you, mate?
I really was enjoying it, and with the battling all around. When race 1 was great because it was just everyone was a bit carnage and everything, but I was enjoying it. But with race 2, when I started first, I kind of got anxious because the pros are behind you, so you don't want to disturb their race, but you have to remember the pro-ams are coming behind them too. But then when I saw apparently 3 cars behind me, I made a mistake and I touched the grass, so apparently passed me, and then I knew race 2 just keep with the second race. But race 3, overwhelmed with it.
Yeah, you certainly kept him honest. Unfortunately, he had a bit of an incident going into the last corner that managed to put you in. But I was commenting on the stream about your rather excellent paint job and your Potato Nation logo on your rear bumper, mate.
Yeah, no, there's a group of us. One of the dads owns a YouTube channel in Lawrence as well, and we're all known as the Potato Nation crew, so that's why it's on the back bumper representing the Potato Nation crew.
No, it was great. It did make me
Yeah.
chuckle. So we've got one more round left for the season, Charlotte. Obviously, the chances of you winning the AM Champions are slight, but as Dan was just saying, you two had some epic battles last season in Charlotte. So are you looking forward to that round, mate?
I just can't wait because this is you're saying we had battles and it was great battling with him. So we said we go for round 2 again, and he says bring it on. So we know we're going to be having a good time.
No, it's great to chat to you always, mate. You know, I'm glad you're feeling better. Would you like to give a shout out to anyone before we let you go, mate?
I just want to say thank you to all you in Apex and to all the time you put into this, and to my family and friends again, and to my sister. So yeah, just one for you, Jenna. So thank you.
There you go, Jenna. One for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you feeling better, mate, and good luck for the penultimate round, mate.
Perfect. Yeah. See you next week.
See you next week, mate.
Good luck.
Okay, there was Damien there, obviously top AM driver today, Sam. So we got one last interview, which is his countryman Nathan Healy.
Yes, Nathan joins us now in the commentary box, finishing 12th, 19th, and 11th tonight. A bit of a topsy-turvy round of the championship, Nathan, but a couple of good results in there as well.
Yeah, it was a good race. The second race wasn't great. I was fighting for the podium for Pro Am, and then was unfortunately taken out in the last corner. I think with 1 or 2 laps to go. So, but that's racing. But race 1 and 2 was fantastic, or 1 and 3. It was even like starting from the pit lane in race 1. I kind of fought my way back. I was like, no, I'm going to get this right.
How did you find this Oulton Park circuit? Because I was thinking just how much fun this place must be to drive in these MX-5s.
Yeah, I love this track with these cars particularly because you can throw it around and just have, as long as you know your braking points, which for me braking is a little bit tough today because I actually can't barely put any pressure on my ankles. So I'm like, trying to race, but we'll get there.
We heard from Damien how there's a bit of a heat wave currently in Ireland. I'm certainly feeling it in the UK, and I'm sure Andy is as well. How is it in your rig? I mean, is it particularly warm in that room?
It's not too bad because I'm actually out in the shed and I have like the shed door open, but I also have a tower fan in front of me blowing full force directly on me, so just to cool down because it is very warm between both Ireland and England for the past couple of days, and hopefully it may continue, but eventually it can kind of go away, put us back to our normal temperatures.
Yeah, preferably if it could dip whenever we're in the sim. That would be very helpful. We've got one more round of the championship to go. It's Charlotte. How are you feeling about that one? I believe you took part in that round last season, did you not?
Yes, I did. I actually joined for the last 3 rounds last season, and Charlotte was the one that actually said, yeah, I have to do the full season because it was absolutely fantastic. I love Charlotte Roval. I love the technical parts going through the bus stops and making sure you're pinpoint accurate. But I've had some good battles there with Damo and Daniel Parmalee last season, so it should be a good race.
Definitely. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Nathan?
I just want to thank yourselves for putting on another fantastic season of Mazda Racing, and a shout out to SCCR SimSports and the Potato Nation that we're part of.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Nathan, and yeah, best of luck in 7 days' time.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one.
Nathan Healy there, finishing in 12th, 19th, and 11th tonight. That rounds out our interviews. Next time out, Andy, it's the season finale. Honestly, this is such a fun series to broadcast because we get to know the drivers so well. We kind of have the same kind of 20-odd drivers turning up every single round, and so it's very easy for us to kind of follow exactly what's going on in the championship. But yeah, last round, and yeah, Charlotte, like I said before, it's just a weird circuit. I mean, it's a roval with elevation change. You just don't have that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different track, really. You got the tight infield section, which is quite technical, and you got to be precise, and then you've got the oval, so I'd imagine they'll be taking a little bit of a break down the oval, you know, having a bit of a drink around there in these cars, because they're not the quickest going around there. But, you know, From a series point of view, it's been fantastic. My first one I've been involved in, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm a little bit sad, Sam, that it's actually the last round. So really, and exactly like you said, you get to know these drivers quite well. You can have a good bit of banter with them, and they're all fair and all good friends within the championship. So it's been a privilege and an honour to be able to commentate for these guys, and certainly them Irishmen are stalwarts, isn't it? We got Nathan this week that's obviously done something to his ankle, and we had poor Damien that had something else wrong that was leaking. So yeah, they certainly stalwarts, them Irish. Good old Potato Nation, eh?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, maybe we should get a medal for participating as much as they do. They might be second and third in the amateur category, to be fair, which I think would be a fairly good reward for their tenacity this season. So yeah, of course, that next round of the championship will be in 7 days' time on Apex Racing TV. If you've enjoyed this video, do please leave a like on it, and also subscribe as well to Apex Racing TV, because then you're that much more likely to catch the final round of the season, of course. And of course, there's 20 odd other broadcasts going on every single week on Apex Racing TV. Tomorrow, for example, we've got the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. I believe that's the penultimate round of the season. And of course, on Thursday, we've got the first round of the Apex Racing League NASCAR Trucks series, which you can still sign up for yourself, actually, over on apexracingleague.com. But if you don't want to sign up, then watch it, because it is going to be a lot of fun. A few of the commentators and broadcasters over on Apex Racing TV are actually taking part in that one, so it's going to be a lot of fun to make fun of them. Whoever is in the commentary box. Of course, do check out Apex Racing TV's social media pages as well on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, so you can constantly see little highlights from each of our races, and also keep getting updates as well for everything that is happening on Apex Racing TV. And yeah, of course, a big thanks as well to Virtual Racing School, SDK Gaming and Apex Racing Academy for sponsoring the series and offering some fantastic prizes for several of the drivers. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Andy Thompson and from Sam Kume, we will start preparing for the final round of the championship at Charlotte. It is just a 5-point gap in the Pro Drivers' Championship. Let's see who will take the Season 2 title next time out. See you then.